And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene. I know, it doesn't look good. Let me give you a PSA. Always take care of yourself out in the sun. Sunblock, hat. I didn't pay the price. I had a quick procedure done. The good news is I'm cancer-free, so not an issue there. I just don't look that good for, well, a few months probably. But anyway, did a great job. I want to thank again the guy, Dr. Jonathan Ledet at St. Francis. Did the surgery work, then went over to see Dr. Anil Kumar at Memorial Surgery Center for some plastic surgery work, so I'd be more beautiful than her. My wife, Becky, was disappointed. When I came back from the plastic surgery, she was hoping I'd look like George Clooney. Sorry, honey. All right, let's take a look now at our sports lineup for the week, though. We have Eric Bailey joining us to wrap up Big Four football week number 4. And of course, it was quite a tough time in Norman and Stillwater. Michael Knight's here with his weekly recap of all the high school football action. Then Mike Carter, former athletic director at Oral Roberts University. We're here to talk about a very special project. It's good right here at the Wee Street Ice Center. And Big Al returns. That's right, Big Al Jerkens is back in Tulsa. Have him on the show to talk some sports with the guy. Of course, big race coming up at Remington Park. All that coming up in sports. Right now, though, take a look at our Tulsa World Hot Topics. Run down the Big Four schedule this past week. Of course, Utah beating Oklahoma State 22-19. I don't know how the Cowboys' offense could be that cold, but on the field, the temperature, actual temperature, the field in Stillwater was 156 degrees. Of course, Tennessee gave OU a rude awakening to the SEC, 25-15. Just a series of bad plays by OU, and now a quarterback controversy. Arkansas won at Auburn. Good way to open the SEC for the Hogs, 24-14. And the big win of the week, Tulsa in overtime, winning at Louisiana Tech, getting their second victory of the young season. Here's this week's schedule for the Big Four. Oklahoma State at Kansas State, 11 a.m. on ESPN. Oklahoma at Auburn, that's at 2:30 on ABC. Arkansas at Texas A&M, they'll meet at AT&T Stadium in Dallas as usual. That's a 2:30 game on ESPN. And Tulsa on ESPN Plus, evening game, 6 p.m. They're at North Texas. Check now the Associated Press top 25 poll this week. The top 4 teams remain the same: Texas, Georgia, Ohio State, and Alabama. Tennessee, after beating OU, moved up 1 spot to number 5. Meanwhile, OU and OSU both fell 6 spots each, down to 20 and 21. FC Tulsa Soccer on the road, coast to coast. This past weekend, they're up in Rhode Island, lost that match 2-1. Now they're on the road heading to Oakland. They'll be playing in Oakland, California this Sunday. Next home match at One Oak Field will be next Saturday, October the 5th, hosting El Paso Locomotive. Nebraska football continues its record. It's celebrating a 400th consecutive sellout. 85,458 crazy Husker fans at Memorial Stadium to watch the Big Red play. They started November 3rd, 1962. This past Saturday, their 400th consecutive sellout. Major League Baseball heads the final week of the season. All eyes on Shohei Ohtani. What a season he's had. 50-plus steals and home runs. He capped it all with a record game. And he had three home runs, 2 stolen bases. He led the Dodgers into their playoff spot. We'll talk more about the playoffs coming up later. And college basketball fans, get ready for a big exhibition game coming up on October 25th in Fayetteville, Arkansas, as Arkansas will host the Kansas Jayhawks. Special charity event there at Arkansas. We come back, Eric Bailey, the Tulsa World, the Sooner beat reporter, comes here to tell us what's going on with the Sooners, what's the matter with the Sooners, and who's going to be the quarterback. That's next.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park continues into December with plenty of winning primetime action. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day on Sunday, September 29th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby as the main event. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Wednesday through Saturday. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
Joining me now, Eric Bailey of the Tulsa World. And Eric, it was quite a weekend in Norman, Oklahoma, as they opened up SEC playing at Tennessee. Not the way I think the Sooners probably thought it might work out, but also now it looks like we're in the middle of a quarterback controversy. Talk about your thoughts on the OU-Tennessee game.
Well, yeah, you're exactly right when you say it wasn't quite the way that everyone expected. That's a really good Tennessee team, first of all, but Oklahoma certainly didn't help itself with 3 turnovers and ineffective quarterback play. We knew going in they had to play close to perfect. The defense really showed how well they could play against an upper tier team in the SEC. But unfortunately for Oklahoma fans, the offense was stagnant to the point where there was a quarterback change late in the second quarter, looking for anything they could do to just kind of inspire that offense. And Michael Hawkins looked really well, Chris. I was really impressed with the way he played in the second half and really thrown into the fire. It's almost like go do something. And he went out there and looked well late in the second half. I'm kind of interesting now. We are in a quarterback controversy. I think Michael Hawkins, if I had to pick today when we're taping this, I think Michael Hawkins will be the starter down in Auburn. Of course, there's a week long of practices to go into that. But I think Oklahoma has to find something to inspire that offense that's just struggled through these first 4 games.
I tell you, I was kind of amazed. Kirk Herbstreit, of course, the ESPN analyst, he just flat out said, he says, there's your starting quarterback for next week. Hawkins has played like it, deserves to be OU's #1 quarterback.
Yeah, and when you look at Jackson Arnold, so much potential, the 5-star quarterback out of Texas, everyone thought he was going to be the guy that comes in. And, I think hindsight's always 2020. You wonder if you could have maybe talked Dillon Gabriel to stay in one more season. What would this have been like? Of course, Dillon Gabriel would have had some of the same limitations that Jackson Arnold has in terms of that offensive line being beat up, but not having the same weapons at the wide receiver position. But again, I think Dillon Gabriel has experienced, he's not going to put the ball in jeopardy. And what we've seen with Jackson Arnold, he's started 5 games, and in the 2 biggest games that he started against against Arizona in the Alamo Bowl late last year, and then this past Saturday against Tennessee, he's had 7 turnovers. And you just can't put the ball in jeopardy against good teams. And I think that's what he's done. And I think that's led to his downfall. So, Michael Hawkins, while everyone's excited about him coming in and maybe taking over this offense, you got to remember he's a true freshman and he's going to make those same freshman mistakes because he just doesn't have the reps. So you're going to have to, again, go through some growing pains with a young freshman quarterback. But at this point, Oklahoma's really grasping for straws with the situation that they're in.
And how we let Dillon Gabriel get away, I guess it came down to the old thing, money, the portal and NIL and stuff like that. They had to make a choice. Who do you keep? And they sent Dillon Gabriel up to Oregon, who's now one of the Heisman finalists.
It's just one of those things. If you're Oklahoma, you have to make a decision right then, too. Do you invest in a quarterback that you're only going to have for 1 year, or do you invest in a quarterback that you could have for 2 or 3 years in Jackson Arnold? And you want to invest in your future. You can't pay both of them, and you're always taking a chance if you invest in Dillon Gabriel. Well, Jackson Arnold might just look for another offer and go somewhere else. So it's a hard choice now. That's the world we live in. So I think Oklahoma went with Jackson Arnold, going with a younger quarterback, and you can't blame Dillon Gabriel because he wants to continue to play. And and he's going to go somewhere where he can win a Heisman Trophy, win a national championship, and he went to Oregon. So I enjoyed Dillon Gabriel. I enjoyed covering him off the field. I enjoyed covering him on the field. So you wish the best for Dillon Gabriel. Now I think Oklahoma fans would love to have him in Crimson and Cream right now. So it's just a tough, it's a business decision. That's where we're at now, Chris, in this world of college football. You're not only making recruiting decisions, you're making business decisions.
Well, thanks to Oklahoma defense, at least, and I was surprised when I saw this. Oklahoma actually outscored Tennessee in the second half, and the defense really did about all they could.
Yeah, it's funny. Joe Klatt, the analyst on Fox made a funny tweet over the weekend. He said if Oklahoma had this defense when Lincoln Riley was here, they'd win 5 national championships. It's funny because even if they have just a pedestrian defense during those days, I think Oklahoma could have won a couple of national championships. Now you fast forward to this year, I think if Oklahoma has a decent offense, not just a great offense, but a decent offense, they could be SEC contenders. This Oklahoma offense, and part of it is play calling, a scheme, and everything like that. But part of it is the injury bug. You got an offensive line that's just struggling, and how did it get this far? We knew going in that this offensive line was going to be under the microscope, and now it is even more because of the injury bug. Oklahoma could not run the ball up the middle. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of teams that won't be able to run the ball up the middle into the gut of that Tennessee defense, but there were instances why I was wondering why Oklahoma kept doing it and trying to force the issue at times against Tennessee when it just wasn't going to happen. And now you got Taylor Tatum, who left the game injured. He's probably your most dynamic running back right now, and I don't know what his status will be moving forward. Nick Anderson tried to go. He went just a couple plays in the first quarter. So the wide receiver room where your depth was really limited, that was kind of an issue. Deion Burks left late in the game. So this team across the board is so injury hampered. And you look at the schedule moving forward, it doesn't get any easier. Thankfully for Oklahoma, they play an Auburn team coming up that struggled. And then you get an off week. And I think that everyone's trying just to limp toward that off week so you can just get some rest and recovery time. I think that's so important for Oklahoma. But right around the corner after that off week is Texas, #1 team in the country. So it doesn't get any easier.
Let's talk about the game coming up Saturday at Auburn. First road trip for the Sooners, second SEC game. But Auburn certainly struggled. Arkansas put a beating on them at Arkansas last week.
Auburn's having the same issues that Oklahoma at the quarterback position, turnover-prone quarterbacks. They made a coaching or a quarterback change mid-game, going back to their starter this past Saturday. And Oklahoma and Auburn, both coaches, Hugh Freeze and Brandon Venables, are going through the same issues with the quarterback situation. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen. Auburn has had tough times at home, and Oklahoma's catching them at the right time. OU enters this game as a 4-point favorite, which is good for Oklahoma. They're going to go in with a little confidence. I think Oklahoma can go in with the confidence of knowing that they're playing well defensively. So I think that that's key too. Now it just goes back to whether they can score points or not. A benefit for Oklahoma is that they're going to go in with a young quarterback that Auburn doesn't have a lot of tape on. What's Oklahoma going to do? How are they going to use Michael Hawkins if he is the quarterback? And Auburn's going to have to game plan for playing a new quarterback, a versatile quarterback. Are there going to be new packages, new schemes that Oklahoma's going to use if they do use the roll Hawkins out there? That gives Oklahoma a little bit more of a challenge or of an advantage, I think, going into this game too. So it's just, how can Oklahoma play on the road? They've struggled under Brent Venables in these past 2 years with their road games, have things changed? We'll see when they go to Jordan Hare on Saturday.
And we're going to take a time out to come back with Eric Bailey and talk about the Oklahoma State Cowboys and their performance last Saturday. They look ahead to a tough game with Kansas State. How about those Golden Hurricanes? Something happy to talk about when we return on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it up.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
As the sun rises over eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
And welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene. Eric Bailey, Tulsa World sports columnist. He's got the OU beat, but he's also, of course, connected all the football through the season here. And let's talk about the Oklahoma State Cowboys. A frustrating game for them against Utah. And I noticed both the Oklahoma and Oklahoma State have dropped 6 spots in the AP poll. Oklahoma State down to 20 and OU to 21.
That was a big game for the Cowboys. I think going into that was a precursor. Whoever won that game was going to have a leg up in the Big 12 standings and have an inside path to Arlington in the Big 12 title game. So we were wondering what was going to happen. And you always want to protect home field when you're playing in a conference game of that magnitude. And, for the longest time, we didn't know if Cam Rising was going to play for Utah or not, too. And when Oklahoma State, we learned that they were going to get a backup quarterback. I really liked Oklahoma State's chances. And we talked about Oklahoma's issues at the quarterback situation. Oklahoma State goes to their backup quarterback as well in that game when they were stuck at 3 points for the longest time. So the same frustrations with Oklahoma is happening at Oklahoma State with their offense. And that's tough. That really is. You're playing a good team at home. You get a chance to get an attractive road or home win in conference play early in the season. That could have gave you a lot of cachet, and it just didn't happen. The surprise with Oklahoma State right now is they just can't get Ollie Gordon going. He was a Heisman candidate, and everyone thought, he came back for a reason. Everyone thought he was going to go pro, and everyone was thinking, well, they could ride Ollie Gordon into a lot of wins and individual accolades, and he had an experienced offensive line to boot to run behind. It just hasn't happened this year through a third of the season. So that's kind of interesting too, how that's not happening. So there's a lot to put together in Stillwater right now. So we'll see what goes on moving forward.
And how about Kansas State? They were touted as the second best pick in the Big 12 preseason.
BYU really handled them, and that was kind of surprising. The score surprised me more than anything. I know, we're good friends with Matt Wells, the offensive coordinator up in Manhattan. He used to be an analyst at Oklahoma the last 2 years, in fact. And I know that he was really wanting to get that job in Norman. What that Seth Luttrell is now the coordinator at OU. To score 3 points in Provo, that was kind of disappointing for Kansas State too. So it's a tough deal, and it just kind of tells you where the league's at right now. It could be anybody's league, right? And that was big for BYU. And you talk about protecting home field, what Oklahoma State needed to do. That's what BYU did. And it's tough to win in Provo in a night game. Let's just say that. That's what Kansas State found out.
All right, let's have some good news. How about those Golden Hurricane? Huh? They finally win an overtime game on the road, and got to make them feel pretty good.
That was big, and that kind of tells you where Kevin Wilson is in turning that program around and getting them some momentum and some confidence. And awful officials call late in the game in that, but they were able to overcome that. Just so excited for that TU program and kind of building where they've been. And you look at the coaches that have been able to really turn that program around. It's taken them a little bit of time. It seems like each coach needs to give them a little bit of time to build what they can build. You look at Steve Crackthorpe, of course, and then you look at Bill Blankenship and Todd Graham and Philip Montgomery and what they've been able to do. And now Kevin Wilson's doing the same thing. And good for him. He's building his program. He's getting road wins. Winning on the road anywhere in any league is tough. And for Tulsa to be able to do that in a place that really isn't easy to win, to go in there and do that, that's huge. It's a springboard game, and it gets you closer to bowl eligibility. And that would be huge for Tulsa to find its way to get into a bowl game, to get into postseason. That springboards you into next year. It springboards you into recruiting, and good for him. I'm happy for the Golden Hurricane. Chris, I covered them, and they're always gonna have a special place in my heart.
He's got a good challenge this week again on the road against a really high-scoring North Texas team.
That is a tough place to play. Denton is always tough to play, and I think UNT is favored in that game as well. But what you do if you're Tulsa is you take that momentum from going to Louisiana and winning that game, and you take it into North Texas. You want to finish the month strong, continue to build that when you go into a conference game like that, and finish. They really haven't played. They've only had one bad game, and that was Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State's going to make a lot of teams look silly. So I think that if you can continue to keep that momentum and finish the month strong, get into October on a high, I think that's big too. And from quarterback play down, if you can just continue to get that offensive line to continue to grow and build faith and build confidence, I think that's big. If the offensive line can continue to grow for Tulsa, I think that's big.
Wrap things up with the Razorbacks. Sam Pittman fighting for his job and doing pretty well. It was a good win for him in Auburn.
They needed that win. That was a huge win. I know it was kind of a testament to how they're rallying around Coach Pittman. I know that Oklahoma State loss was just so tough on them. They just seemed to have that game wrapped up, and the way that OSU game finished was hard on them. And I know that hot seat got hotter after losing in Stillwater. But to go into Auburn, and I remember sitting in SEC media days, and Kirby Smart came on the dais, and he said that any road win in the SEC is tough. And going into Auburn and getting that win over the Tigers this past weekend was huge for Arkansas. So that's what they need. That's what they need. They need to go in and get some wins, steal some wins on the road, and more importantly, try to protect home field. That's what Sam Pittman does. And he's a good old boy. He's going to celebrate all those wins. And I think that was big for the Razorbacks. Schedule doesn't get any easier, of course, for Arkansas, but just continue to delve through, try to get to a bowl game. I think it's easier said than done for that program, but just try to get to a bowl game. That would be huge for Coach Pittman. Us Oklahomans are always going to pull for him. Grove, Oklahoma, is that right? That's where he's from. Yep. You got to pull for Coach Pittman.
Eric Bader, the Tulsa World. Eric, thanks for taking the time joining us. Have a good time in the Plains and try to get that OU team going again.
Will do, Chris. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Right back aboard Oklahoma Sports Scene. Stay right there.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis. Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
Michael Knight joins us now for his weekly report on high school football around the state. Michael, most teams had the week off. How about you?
No weeks off. If there's high school football, I'm going to go watch it. I'm going to film it. I'm going to cover it. I went out to eastern Oklahoma to take a look at our Class 2A2 number 1 ranked team, the Vian Wolverines. They took on Pecola. Vian's never lost to Pecola in school history. It didn't start on Friday night. They took care of business, winning 67-34. It was an absolute track meet early on. The first quarter lasted nearly an hour, and with 90-degree temperatures and a lot of humidity, I wasn't pleased, but the football was great. A lot of touchdowns, a lot of scoring, a lot of yards, specifically from Mason Wright, Vian's star junior. Went for over 300 yards, several touchdowns. He even had a couple touchdowns called back. I knew that Mason was a really good football player because he's been that for Vian for the last 2 years. He's been starting for them since he was a freshman. But this was my first chance to see him in person, and he did not disappoint. Really physical runner, a dynamic player, plays running back, wide receiver, quarterback, returns kicks, plays defense. Can't deny or confirm whether or not he sells popcorn at halftime. He does everything for Vian. He might even work at the local gas station. Wow. I don't know. But he does everything for them, and he really makes them a serious contender for a state championship.
How big a kid is Mason Wright?
He's about 6'1", 6'2". Okay, I mean, he's a good-looking kid. He's athletic. I believe he's family to former Vian standout and Oklahoma State standout Kenyatta Wright as well.
Oh, yeah, know that name, sure.
Definitely has the genetics to be a really good football player.
All right, we've finished 4 weeks, non-conference out of the way, getting ready for district play. What are your big storylines for the first part of the season?
Yeah, so earlier this week on Prep Redzone, Oklahoma, we put out our non-district storylines, some of the top stories to come out of the first month. And obviously, you have to start the conversation with the Owasso Rams. Yeah. With the way that they started this season, beating Bixby in the season opener, that got everybody's attention. And then to back it up by going on the road and beating Jinx. And that game was tied at halftime. And they just absolutely dominated the second half, outscoring the Trojans 28-10 in the third and fourth quarter. I mean, the Owasso Rams look like the top team in 6A1, and they're going to get a chance to show it again next week when they play Union. So Owasso in the first half of the season, they'll play the other 3 teams ranked in the top 4 of 6A1. The only one that they haven't played, well, I guess they play them every day at practice. The Owasso Rams are number 1 in 6A1. Some other big storylines, Carl Albert and Lincoln Christian. Those 2 defending champions are absolutely dominant. Carl Albert, big win last week over Stillwater. The Titans haven't given up a point this season. They shut out Midwest City, they shut out Lawton Eisenhower, and then they shut out Stillwater last week. And I thought that the shutout streak might come to an end last week. It did not. They looked dominant. Caden Davis, their senior linebacker, he's been a first-team All-State selection for me the last 2 seasons. Wow, so he has a chance to do it for a 3rd time this year. He looks like he's well on his way to doing that. Really impressed with the Titans. Lincoln Christian going on the road and beating Heritage Hall in week 1, a state championship rematch. They also beat Shiloh Christian, an Arkansas powerhouse. Their defense is legit, so Lincoln Christian looks great. Carl Albert looks great. Some of the other defending champs as well. They took some scares. They got some scares earlier on. Muskogee had to rally to beat Rogers over in Arkansas. They had a goal line stand to beat Bentonville West, but they're 3-0. They look like the favorite in 6A2 again. Washington down in Class 2A, they've won 33 straight games. They were pushed to double overtime a few weeks ago. Fairview, same week as Washington, getting pushed. Another 33-game winning streak. They nearly lose, but they score in the final minute to win as well. So some state champions that were pushed early, but they passed those tests with flying colors, and they look like they're the favorites in their respective classes.
And now it's the start of a second season. You'd like to say it's serious now. It's district play. What are the games that stand out this week for you, Mike? Where will you be?
I will be up in Collinsville. So all eyes in Oklahoma, for the most part, are going to be on Bixby. They're hosting the Jinx Trojans. And that game is so interesting because, a month ago, that was looked at as a potential game of the year, not only in 6A1, but in the state. And now both teams are combined 3-3. Bixby's 2-1. Jinx is 1-2. So maybe a little luster's taken off that game. No, it's still going to be great. But I've already seen Bixby and I've already seen Jinx, so I'm going to go over to Collinsville where the Cardinals are hosting Del City in a top 5 matchup in Class 5A. I think if there's a team out there that can scare Carl Albert in Class 5A, it might be the Collinsville Cardinals. And it's also a good chance to see Del City, a team that made it to the state title game a year ago but fell short and had to settle for silver. They're rebuilding and reloading, and they look like a team that could possibly challenge in Class 5A. So some great games once again all over the state of Oklahoma, but those two are probably the top matchups.
And you're going to see Edmond Memorial, right?
Yes, on Thursday night, Edmond Memorial goes on the road to take on Norman North, and a couple really good quarterbacks in that matchup, as well as a junior prospect in Mason James, who's very talented.
And the state's #1 pom-pom girl, my granddaughter, Lauren Olivia Crooks, will be there cheering for Edmond Memorial. So try to get a video for me.
I'll be sure to get some video as well on the sidelines.
And how do we get to PrepRedzone.com?
Yeah, just search us PrepRedzone.com. We're in over 40 states across the country. Obviously, if you're watching this, you just want Oklahoma. We focus Oklahoma high school football 24/7, 365. We have coverage every single day with new content dropping. You can check us out there. You can follow us on Twitter as well for all the updates at Prep Red Zone OK. And be sure to check us out on YouTube as well. All of our game highlights, the Collinsville, Del City highlights will be there. The Edmond Memorial Norman North highlights featuring Chris's granddaughter will be there as well. On YouTube, just search Prep Red Zone Oklahoma.
Thank you, Michael. Come back with Mike Carter, longtime athletic director at Oral Roberts University, and this guy just will not retire.
You've seen the billboards, you've heard the hype, and now it's time for the Wee Street Ice Center to open its doors and welcome you in. 140,000 square feet, 2 ice rinks, public skating, hockey, arcade, game simulators, and the largest sports bar and grill is sliding into Tulsa. It's the grand opening of the new Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale. Make your plans, get your skate on, or watch some sports today. The Wee Street Ice Center, now open and ready to serve you. Wee Street Ice Center, 43rd and Yale.
Thoroughbred season at Remington Park continues into December with plenty of winning primetime action. Make plans now for Oklahoma Derby Day on Sunday, September 29th. The lone Sunday afternoon of the season begins at 3 p.m. with the richest race of the season, the Grade 3 $400,000 Oklahoma Derby as the main event. The normal Remington Park Racing Week is Wednesday through Saturday. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m. Visit RemingtonPark.com for all post times, group rates, and dining reservations.
The Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, home of the Paycom Jim Thorpe Award, is a treasure trove of memorabilia honoring Oklahoma sports legends. For museum hours or to schedule a tour, go to oklahomasportshalloffame.org.
We had a very special guest on Oklahoma Sportscene show set last week, Michael Carter, the former athletic director at Oral Roberts University. In fact, he served at ORU for 27 years, and of course, he was supposed to be retired, but he still can't leave ORU.
I flunked retirement. After 27 years, I became the athletic director emeritus, and then the president called and said, I need you back as the vice president of development and alumni relations, and I went back. So I'm still there.
You guided ORU into the Summit League, and what a success, winning 155 regular season and tournament championships, sent 84 teams to the postseason, NCAA and NIT. What an impact postseason tournaments have had on that university.
Yes, brought a lot of attention to the university, and particularly the 2021 run to the Sweet 16. Yep. I mean, we beat Ohio State, and then we beat Florida, and the budgets were 10 times bigger than our budgets in athletics. And I can't tell you what it did for the university. The applications to the school went up by 150%. The social media drops were just off the charts.
And now, of course, you're very involved, besides at Oral Roberts University, and have been for so many years, with the Scott Carter Heroes. Talk about that incredible foundation, the impact it's had.
Oh, I'll go back to the beginning, because Scott was diagnosed when he was 11 with bone cancer.
Yeah.
And then they had to amputate his leg below the knee. Make-A-Wish came to him and said, you want to go to Disney? You want to meet somebody famous? He said, no, I go to Disney a lot with my parents. And I've met a lot of famous people like Michael Jordan and Nolan Ryan and Barry Sanders and Garth Brooks and Muhammad Ali. He said, let's take my sports memorabilia collection and we'll put it in a truck and take it around the country and let people enjoy it. And we'll take up donations and give the money to cancer research and find a cure for cancer. Well, the Make-A-Wish people looked at him and went, right. We don't have the money or the manpower to do that, nor did they know what was in the collection. And the collection has over 400 items that are basically Hall of Fame in sports everywhere from baseball, basketball, golf, fishing, hockey. It's just unbelievable, and it's currently on display here at the Wee Street Ice Center.
Tell us your favorite parts of the collection. I think you have two cases that really stand out to you and to the public.
Yeah, two cases. One of them is what we call the Dream Team case, and in that case we have a jersey, a shoe, or a ball from each member of the 92 Dream Team.
Wow.
That's unbelievable. There can't be many of those in the United States.
Yeah, right.
And the other one is what I just call the Legends case. It has a replica Mickey Mantle jersey, has a Jerry West basketball, has the original of Mickey Mantle's second contract, professional contract with the Joplin Miners for $225 a month.
Wow.
Has a Richard Petty STP cap, a Ben Hogan book, a Gordie Howe hockey stick, about 24 Hall of Fame baseballs, and a bat signed by Hank Aaron that we sent to him. It's a Hank Aaron model. And it was my bat when I was a kid. 10 years
Especially
old.
repaired, I understand, right?
We had to tack it back together to keep playing because we couldn't afford to buy another bat. And the bottom shelf isn't too bad. It's got a Pele jersey,
right,
a Walter Payton football, a Bruce Jenner Sports Illustrated cover.
Wow.
Ali and Frazier boxing gloves, and Arnold Palmer Pennzoil can cap, and a record album on how to play golf that was given away in 1963 by Mercury Automobiles if you would test drive a Mercury.
There you go.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is come into the Wheat Street Ice Center, right? Open all the time, yeah?
Yes, no admission charge. It's just open for people to see. There are 12 cases and a lot of framed jerseys.
Well, it is quite a display, and really any sports fan would love to see that. Maybe I want to ask you about, too, you got your own kind of display, the Mike Carter Athletic Center. Tell us about that, Mike. What a great honor, well-deserved and well-earned over there, sir.
Well, I'm humbled by it all. I think they probably should named it dumpster for me, not an athletic center, but it is a magnificent building that was designed by Tim Johnson, the current athletic director.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. It has 2 full practice gyms, one for the men, one for the women. It has a 10,000 square foot weight room. Has 10,000 square feet for the academic center. And our student athletes posted an all-time high of 3.48 this past year. And then the top floor are executive offices for the athletic staff and the men's and women's basketball coaches.
Mike Carter, Athletic Director Emeritus. I still think just the AD for so many years out there at Oral Roberts University. And boy, now you got great track and field teams and no track and field facility. Now they got a great track and field stadium.
Yes.
They're redoing the baseball stadium, J.L. Johnson, right?
Yes, we're redoing it.
And you've added on campus, what new buildings? We have the Visitor Center, right?
At the Visitor Center, the new J.D. McKean Library, and just opened and dedicated last Friday the Peggy Helmrich Media Arts Center. 75,000 square feet for dance, drama, music, and film.
And the enrollment in ORU, I think it's almost every state. How many states around the world are represented?
All 50 states and 121 nations.
Gosh.
And the thing that's really remarkable is we have now seen 16 straight years of enrollment growth, which is unheard of in higher education.
Sure, yes.
And when you put those figures together with the fact that all of these buildings have been built debt-free and with no tuition money.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been blessed, believe me.
Good Lord's taking care of you out there.
God is good. God is good.
Tell us quickly about how much money the Scott Carter Heroes Foundation has raised to help fight children's cancer.
Well, thank you for that. Between our gala and our golf tournament, we just finished our 30th annual Scott Carter's Heroes Golf Classic. We've raised over $5 million for childhood cancer research.
I want to end with a couple of very inspirational quotes from Scott Carter. I love this one. Don't wear a hat. When people see your ball, they give you free stuff. And I love this one by Scott, too. Mom, we can't be unpositive about this. Pretty good outlook for a 13-year-old.
Very.
Very special youngster, special family. The Carters, what they meant to Tulsa. Mike, thanks for coming out on the show.
Chris, my pleasure.
You guys come out and take a look. Scott Carter's Heroes Collection here. You'll love it. Come right back with more Oklahoma Sports Scene and take this time out.
It's time. Time to get back to the basics. Time to meet up with family and friends. Time to play ball. It's time to cheer on your Tulsa Drillers. It's Hornsby time. It's Tulsa time in the heart of the city. It's time to fire it off.
Our story, it lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
He's back. Big Al has returned to Tulsa. Hello, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. How you doing?
Good.
My
Good.
God.
I still know where everything is, and I still know where all the potholes are.
Exactly.
I'm in good shape.
KJH Sports Director for, oh my God, 34 years. Retired in 2018, but you know, he left us here. He, of course, been on the Sports Animal Show for years and years. Moved down to Tennessee because of Sandy, right?
Right. My wife is originally from Nashville.
Right.
So we went back to be closer to her family. Her mom was, of ill health for a while, so we went back to, help out with that department. So, but I mean, I still keep in contact with you, obviously.
Sure, that's right, yeah.
Caden and Bill Haston and those guys.
And glad to have you back on the air on Sports Animal. When did that all start again?
It was funny how it transpired. Kevin Ward, Eric Geek quit, I guess.
Yeah.
Or
went to
resigned
Fayetteville
and went to Fayetteville.
Yeah,
okay,
right.
so Kevin Ward needed to go on vacation. He had this big vacation plan to go to Cancun or Cabo, one of those.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get out of it, so he just called me and asked me if I'd fill in for him while he was on vacation.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, if it'll lead to something later.
Yeah, right.
And he agreed, and the next thing you know,
yeah,
we're negotiating about how it would work out. And so it worked out. So here I am.
So what do you Caden starts the show, and how's it
All the
work
way
out?
around.
Okay.
I start at 10.
Okay.
And do 10 to 11 solo. And then Pat comes on at 11.
Right.
And then I'm done at 12.
Yeah.
And Caden takes over at 12 and goes to 2.
So you'll do yours obviously remotely from Nashville when you get back home and stuff too, right?
What now?
You'll be doing it remotely from Nashville?
Yes.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
they're going to get that. And another reason why I'm here is just to get reacclimated and get the equipment to make it work.
Good.
So I can do it from my man cave. Sorry, I didn't hear that. The hockey puck.
Don't you love that?
That's music to my ears, as you know.
You think one of
I'm
these
a giant hockey fan.
I know it.
I love my Rangers. They always blow it at the end, but I just.
Now, what do you think of this place, this Weechee
Oh
Ice
my
Center?
gosh!
It's unbelievable. Two
It's
NHL rinks.
incredible.
Yeah.
2 rinks.
Yeah.
A great restaurant in the middle.
Exactly.
I love the Hall of Fame autograph thing you got for Scott Carter.
Yeah, we had a thing with Mike talking about that too earlier.
Right.
So, well, let's talk about. I know you still follow Big Four football, and you were yelling at your TV, I guess, Saturday watching OU in Tennessee.
Well, can I tell this story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah.
My wife is a Tennessean. She's a Nashvilleian.
Yeah.
And she claims she's this big Tennessee Vols fan, and she couldn't name one player over the last 10 years. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So we're watching the game together, and OU gets that ridiculous play call and gets a safety.
Oh, right down the goal.
So that's when I lost my cool. I said, you got to be kidding me with this, because I'd already seen the fumble at the 4 and all this other stuff. So she looks at me and says, who are you rooting for anyway? I said, well, who do you think I'm rooting for? I covered OU for 40 years.
That's
You
right.
mean to tell me I'm going to change all of a sudden? She says, well, And then I said, why would you think I'd be rooting for Tennessee? He says, because your granddaughter goes to school there, which she does.
Okay.
She's going to graduate in May.
Right, very good.
But no, I mean, you don't just quit on a team. I mean, I root for Oklahoma State. I root for Tulsa. The other day, I had Tulsa on my phone.
Yeah.
And the OU game on television. I mean, I try to take in everything. So I watch a lot of TU basketball games on my phone too.
Well, it's big sports time, of course. Now I know you're counting down the days. Major League Baseball season winding up, and your Yankees in the playoffs. Been a while.
They are in the playoffs, and they're ending the season on a positive note.
Yeah.
They've got 6 games left. The magic number to win the division is 1, right as we speak. And they play Baltimore this week, so they can clinch it. Either Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. I mean, they've got their flaws. There's no question. But they also have their positives, as we know, and people are comparing Soto and Judge to, Mantle and Maris or whatever. That may be going a little too far, but Judge has been unbelievable. Ohtani is great. Don't get me wrong. I understand his capabilities. He is really terrific. But Aaron Judge, there's a stretch in a month where he was just unstoppable.
312 home runs in the last 3 years. That's just crazy. It's 55 as we tape the show now. But again, Ohtani, seeing a lot of the spotlight, the Dodger guy, they did that 50-50 and then set a record on that day by hitting what? 3 home runs,
stole 3 bases.
Unbelievable. And they may bring him back to pitch some in the playoffs the Dodgers are talking about.
I think that would be a mistake.
He's had all year off, yeah.
But as long as he's going to be on the roster, it's almost like you do have an extra reliever.
Well, that's right, yeah.
But I, you know what, as valuable as he is, I don't think I'd want to risk it myself.
Yeah.
Unless it's absolutely, positively necessary.
Well, week 4 of the National Football League starts this Thursday with a game. That's right. The Dallas Cowboys and at the New York Giants, and both teams 1-2.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about the Cowboys.
Oh my gosh.
I'm shocked that they're 1-2.
Oh.
And they're playing as poorly as they are on defense.
Just defense. There's no defense. No D in Dallas.
I don't get it either.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought 2 years ago they had a solid defense. What happened all of a sudden? And don't get me wrong, folks. Dak Prescott is a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's not the best quarterback in the National Football League.
No.
And him being the highest paid player and saying that he deserved all the money and all that other stuff, I totally disagree. Does he deserve a high salary? Of course. But does he deserve the most money of any quarterback in the league? No way.
And getting into your season, winter sports, how about those Rangers? And of course, how about your Knicks?
Actually, I'm not a big Knicks guy.
I do that.
You do that. I don't know why. The only time I really rooted for the Knicks.
Well, the owners, how can you cheer for that guy?
Dolan,
yeah.
But the real time that I rooted for the Knicks was when John Starks was playing for them.
Right.
I'm not a big NBA guy.
Yeah.
But when the Thunder came to town, I got reinterested. So I really don't. I don't follow the Knicks. I'm the New York Yankees, the New York Giants, the New York Rangers. Those are my 3 teams. My rock and roll band's the Rolling Stones, and my favorite TV show, Jim Rockford Files, and Law and Order. So I'm so, it's pathetic how I am. I'm stubborn about it, and I stick with it, and I'm not changing.
Well, we have something else in common, not Rockford Files maybe, but thoroughbred horse racing. Of course, his family very famous. His dad, the Giant Killer they called him, Hall of Fame trainer, and his brother Jimmy's in the business too. I was asked your dad once, why isn't Big Al a trainer? He said, Al's allergic to mornings, your dad told me.
Well, I am allergic to the animals.
Yeah,
that's the truth. And the dust and the straw and the hay and all that other stuff. I mean, I did give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I tried, but I just couldn't get through a day without my eyes blowing up or sneezing or whatever. And that's when I said, when I tell people, well, how come you didn't get, when they ask me why I didn't get into the business, I tell them, well, I'm allergic to the animals. And my dad's follow-up was, well, not really. He's allergic to getting up in the morning, which has some truth to it. I'm not an early riser. I never have been, never will be.
And your dad would be at the barns every morning at what time?
5.
Unbelievable.
Well, it used to happen on Christmas.
Yeah.
he could have been the only father that was up to open up presents before the kids. Well, you know how the kids like to rush downstairs and let's open up the presents and let's open it. He wanted us to open up the presents at like 4 in the morning, get all that present opening done, so we could go to the barn and help him work, because he was afraid that some of the people wouldn't, or he gave people off for Christmas. So we were fill-ins at the stables on Christmas Day.
A lot of great memories, a lot of great stories, Big Al.
Thank you
for
having
back
me.
in Tulsa, back on Sports Animal, with Caden doing a good job out there.
He's awesome.
He's great. Well, he did great. You turned out a good man. Yep.
Oh my gosh, he's terrific.
And I hope you appreciate the sound effects here to make you feel like hockey season's getting ready.
I do. I feel like I'm right in the middle of Madison Square Garden. I love this. The Oilers train here, right?
Yeah, right.
This
is their rink right here.
Are they going to play any preseason games?
Play an exhibition game here, I think. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, doing well.
That's great. Hats off to the owners of the Oilers now.
Andy Skirtle done a heck
They
of a
have
job.
done an unbelievable job of revitalizing this franchise.
No doubt.
And this building, I would have never guessed that this would happen. I really did.
Isn't that great?
Oh my gosh. And it had to have been a great PR move.
Oh, sure. You know it was. We're going to come back by way of Remington Race Report coming up next. Now we got the big Oklahoma Derby coming up. Mike Smith's coming in to ride.
Is he? Who's he riding?
Not sure he's having the draw. Steve Asmussen is in, has a horse in the game. They've also got Doug O'Neill's going to be here, John Sadler, Brad Cox. I mean, they got a ton of good, $400,000.
That's awesome.
Good race, so looking forward to it.
A mile and an eighth?
Yeah, mile and an eighth.
Okay.
Grade 3. We're going to talk more of that with Dale Day when we come back. Local Sports Scene. Don't forget, Sports Animal. Listen to Big Al.
Tell Dale I said hi, will you?
I will do.
Right.
Take care, buddy. Be right back.
Tulsa Oilers hockey at the BOK Center. The ultimate experience of hockey and entertainment. Save big on season tickets today. Full season tickets starting as low as $17 per month for all 36 home games. Get your season tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets available now at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life. Around the clock, throughout eastern Oklahoma, we are devoted to one thing: improving the health of our communities, our home. We are your friends, your neighbors. We are the people of St. Francis.
The Remington Park Casino is always open for jackpot gaming. The winning action never ends. Enjoy great food and drinks in the Bricktown Brewery, open daily at 11 a.m. Simulcast racing is offered every day, featuring North America's best tracks. Visit the Club Remington desk for player card membership and begin earning points and rewards. The jackpots are always flowing. The next one could be yours at Remington Park. Oklahoma Breds were featured in a series of turf stakes events the weekend before Oklahoma Derby at Remington Park. But before we get to those recaps, here's a bonus from National Talk Like a Pirate Day. Top of the stretch, it's Matagorda Bay by a pair. Inside Circus Star moves into second. Our Pirate Treasure now third and gaining and quickly takes over second. Here comes our Pirate Treasure. Matagorda Bay trying to fend off the Pirate. A length back, and our Pirate Treasure is fighting more. Can't stop this now. Third, Matagorda Bay digging in. Our Pirate Treasure, Matagorda Bay. Photo finish. Our Pirate Treasure breaks her maiden status under jockey Lindy Wade on Thursday, September 19th, National Talk Like a Pirate Day, and she got all the loot. On now to the recaps from September 20th, Oklahoma Breds in the series of divisional turf stakes races. The Remington Park Turf Sprint began the All-Turf Stakes Festival on Friday, September 20th for Oklahoma Breds. The turf sprint at 5 furlongs over the firm going. Off the turn, they fly. Just chilling in 21 and change. Battling up front, Mr. Wayside. Now Dark Afternoon asked for more, so is Breakable Code. Final furlong coming up at the rail, 21 and change. Here comes Dark Afternoon and Mr. Wayside, both moving well. Dark Afternoon going by. Final 16th, Dark Afternoon on top and powering away. Dark Afternoon, for the second straight year, wins the Remington Park Turf Sprint. Dark Afternoon scores for the first time this season at Remington Park and picks up the Remington Park Turf Sprint for a second straight year. Owned by Blackhawk Stable, Elk City, Oklahoma. Trainer Austin Gustafson. The winning jockey, David Cabrera. On now to the fillies and mares, older ones for Oklahoma breds. In the 7th race of the evening, it was the Bob Berry Memorial, named after Bob Berry Sr. and Bob Berry Jr., the well-known Oklahoma City sportscasters and multiple Sportscaster of the Year legends who passed way too soon. 7.5 furlongs over the firm turf for the Bob Berry. With a quarter mile to go in the Bob Berry Memorial, top of the lane. Do you want to dance? Has the advantage now. Backing out of it, Catali Wine Mixer. Here comes Talking Katie, drenched, and Run Sloopy Run. Final furlong. Do you want to dance? Is there by a pair and pulling away. Do you want to dance? Has found a new home over the turf, and she'll go on to win this one by almost 4. Winning for the second straight time this season, and both times over the turf. Do you want to dance? Has found a new course that she really likes at Remington Park on the lawn. Terry Westmeyer, the winning owner of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Scott Young, the trainer, the winning jockey, Leandro Gonçalves. The Red Earth Stakes would wrap up the 3 turf races for the Oklahoma breds. The Red Earth also at the same distance of 7.5 furlongs, 3-year-olds and older. Swinging off a run with a quarter mile to go. Number 1 Dude has nowhere to go and has to take up. Top of the lane, it's Eakley on top by 3, trying to get clear. Mindbolt still right there. Good swimmer, Rowdy Rascal game. And here comes the gray, Tap the Dot. Final furlong, Eakley looking for a wire. Here comes plenty of company, including Tap the Dot, gaining with every stride. Final 16th, Tap the Dot, Eakley, Tap the Dot, Eakley. Photo finish, nose bob. Winning a nose bob photo finish was Tap the Dot, and that win in the photo was good to give Tap the Dot the Red Earth Stakes for a second consecutive year. Owned by AsmussenEquine.com and Martin Riley, partnership of Laredo, Texas. Steve Asmussen, the trainer, winning jockey Stuart Elliott. For Stuart Elliott, it was the end of a riding triple on September 20th for him on Tap the Dot, winning the Red Earth Stakes for a second straight year. Oklahoma Derby Week at Remington Park, Thursday through Sunday, September 26th through the 29th. First race nightly, 6:30 p.m., except, of course, on Sunday, Oklahoma Derby Day, September 29. The first race begins at 3 p.m. Also on Derby Day, the Wine Tasting Festival on Track Level North. That starts at 3. The Hat and Tie Style Contest, also starting at 3. That one is free. Dress your best, and you have a chance to win big cash prizes. The Wine Festival and Style Contest are both on Track North. Oklahoma Derby Racing begins at 3 p.m. In Oklahoma City, at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Thank you, Dale. And remember, this Sunday, the only Sunday with a race program at Remington Park, 10 races, of course, all capped off by the $400,000 Oklahoma Derby. Be on the show next week to recap that. Also, we have a special location next week for you. The Big Shields Sporting Store in the Middle of the Hills Mall, going to be opening October 19th. Invite us to come take a preview sneak peek. So you want to join us for that. And of course, we always remind you, until then, be a good sport. I'll tell you, get looking better.